And here on INSEAD Knowledge now, I'd like to welcome Mr. Sultan Al-Hajji. He's the Deputy General Manager of Total ABK. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you.
Now, running a very big operation here in, of course, the energy capital of the world almost. It has oil, it has gas, it has renewables, it has nuclear interests. I mean, it is really looking along the whole gamut. Why is it so important for a region, an oil-producing country like this, to actually be looking right across the energy sector?
Let me say to start with, we've been here for the last 50 years, and I hope we'll be here for another 50 or beyond that time. We're really excited because we are living in an emerging economy, an emerging society, an emerging civilization that's emerging from one side of the hydrocarbon production to renewable energy. And this is the wisdom of the leadership of the United Arab Emirates, who reinvested in the future from the past experiences and past wealth. And this is very rare in civilization to see somebody who are taking the wealth and wisdom of the past, which laid down by our founder father, Sheikh Zayed, Allah yarhamah, to help us and help the new generation in the future. And it's true that hydrocarbon are limited resources for another 100 years, yes, but why we should not think about the future beyond 100 years? I think that's the long-term vision of the leadership we have, and this I think is fantastic for our generation because this is a new challenge, new parameters, new paradigms for us to live with it.
And it's all happening so fast. I mean, when you look at what's going on here and how it has shifted in the last, let's say, okay, 15 years, I mean, then that's been a huge shift. But even in the last, 5 years here, so much is going on.
Yes.
Catching up with that in terms of human capital, having enough people, having enough qualified people, and also making sure that you maintain them, that has to be a challenge here.
It is, yes indeed, as you said. Renewable energy is a challenge, but once happened, it's too late. We have to look for new challenges. Human capital is a worldwide challenge. We have to rethink the way we do businesses. Where we used to use a lot of mass skills available, today we have scarce skills in certain new innovations ways. So this innovation for me, innovation where needs our society to adapt to new challenges, the whole school and education to be transformed to cater to these changes. Our attitude toward the future should change also, where we have our background, the strength being a merchant strength, being an Arab and Muslim, that's all our strength to help us to see the future and make a better living life for our generations.
And do you find the younger people you come across and the people within this industry too, do you find there is that level of great anticipation, excitement about being involved in this process and actually heading to really the next level of development for this country?
When you have a leadership who is very, very passionate about his people, it is only a small return back to this leadership to be passionate what we do. When you look at these kids' eyes these days, you see the passion, the sparkle to take their country to the best level possible, anyway how possible, because our leadership being so generous with us, so catering to our needs, so involved into shaping the future for us. So I think it is just a shame that we should not take advantage of this and make it better for them also.
And putting all that together, that foundation that's been there and that great support that's been there, when you look at leaders that are needed within the hydrocarbon industry, within infrastructure, within any industry that's developing here, how different do you think that's going to be from anywhere else? Or will it be different? Do we have to just learn skills from everywhere?
There's a joke, and they say that the stone age have not vanished because the stone man have run out of the stones. Yes, we have the wealth. It's how we manage this wealth for the betterness of not only us as a nationals, but for humankind. Why not, while you have the resources, you have the money, you have the know-how, do it, because the day you need it, you might not have all these. And I think wisely enough, we have all this together. We are a very good nation. We're an example of a good nation. We have good relations with the West, where the technology and know-how can be transferred easily. And this transfer of knowledge can be melted up with our traditions and our wealth of wisdom of the past and make it a better mix-up for something new human being. And I think this has been done wisely very, very much.
Now, of course, your generation, Sultan, and many of your peers would have gone away for university training, and you've traveled to many countries in the world, brought back that experience here and now putting it in place. But hopefully in the next few years, and we're seeing this emerging already with the likes of INSEAD and many of the international universities that have been brought here, This should change, hopefully. And do you anticipate that many of the new leaders in the future will actually get their foundation right here in Abu Dhabi and at home?
We're living in a very interesting era. We're living in a renaissance, the Andalusia of 13th century, where we started voyaging from Tangier to Andalusia and bring our strength. Then when we settled in Andalusia, we brought other knowledges and mixed up and translated all these huge literatures and huge books of science and literature and music. And then from that, we have 700 years of flourishing centuries. And Abu Dhabi today, or UAE in general, are that Andalusia and Cordova of the 13th century, where we coexist and co-understand, where the big institution comes here, where the qualified brains comes here, where are the best written books are here, where the best Philharmonic musicians are coming here, all this mixed up to be exposed to the nationals and people who are residents here. Together, all this mixed up, I think, and I'm sure it will be a better future for everybody. And that's the way to bring up or to develop a nation.
It's not just about getting the technical skills.
No,
it's very much as you putting into it.
We cannot isolate
culture, everything that's
we cannot isolate a civilization by segmenting it. It's a whole together system. You put the system, the infrastructure, the literature, the telecommunication, the oil fields, the renewable energies, the best cars, all together will evolve to give you a human something better than it used to be. And Avatar is a good example how we transform, reincarnate our civilization rather than just copying. We reached to a point that we copied enough. I think today we are in a merge of innovating.
Tell me a little bit about innovation, particularly in your role at the moment. Of course, the the energy industry is, I mean, it is a highly tech industry. It's been sort of driven by innovation. But where do you see the role of innovation among your peer group, among the younger group that are coming up, in terms of how that's rolled out, being a leader and using innovation?
In oil business, very traditional businesses, but nevertheless, we have enlarged our oil businesses. Today, barely any oil company will say they are hydrocarbon oil company only. We say we are energy company in all sense. We futurize the energy to the level that to capture the energy, whether it's solar, uranium, or nuclear, in other words, or traditional hydrocarbon, or something new which we are not evident today, but could be evident and feasible and economical tomorrow. This is to do, not to say we're going to invent that particular thing, but we will enable the people of this region by having a best education institutions. We have, as a Total, as you know, that we have created Total Academy to enable our young nationals to work in oil fields, which we have a shortage of that. And then from there, to enable them to be innovative for their own, because once they're innovative, they can see their needs and necessity of today for the future. And I think this, the miracle, where we can enable people to be innovative within themselves.
Now, in the midst of the great excitement and the great development that is going on right on our doorstep, this has also got to present some challenges because it's moving at such a pace. How do you cope with that?
The consequences and challenges are enormous. I mean, you know, I don't know if somebody did a survey on a level of stress, and I'm sure that survey of stress will say the higher you go on the ladder, the higher stress is. The less time you have with the family, the less you have contact with the people, the traditions, and all. There are a lot of sacrifices. But what is good about it, that we as a human, we have learned how to adapt ourselves and to share our time. The biggest sacrifice here, I think, is time, really, for me. Okay? But where the time goes, and because, again, being an Arab and Muslim, we have a wealth of history behind us, how to manage our time better, and where we kept every single aspect of our life in balance and coordination to be a better people. Because we are, again, being passionate about subject does not mean that you neglect other parts of your life also. And I think so far we're doing balancing things.
That's something that we hear right across the world, I think, is that inability sometimes and the frustration for leaders to actually make sure that they have a more balanced life, because it's not about just succeeding in the workplace. No. It's that more holistic approach. And do you encourage that with your people?
Of course. A human being without a family, without children, no future. We can leave a legacy, but if there's no people to take this legacy, we're leaving for who exactly? So the family life is very important for our traditions, very important for mankind. We have to go forward to transfer our knowledge and know-how to somebody else, to this new generation. But if there's no new generation are capable to accept this, then we failed, basically. And being a leader a passion about subject, we don't like to be failure or recognized as a failure. So part of our success is when we can transfer our know-how, our knowledge, our success to some new generations, and that new generation will take it further from us. The only thing we have to be adaptable to the situations, and of course, on a certain levels, on personal levels, yes, we do a lot of sacrifice, because again, say, everybody has 24 hours. It's just how to manage wisely this 24 hours.
And good luck to you managing that, and again to all your group. And there we had on INSEAD Knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sultan Al-Hajji.